What's up, everybody? I hope you had a great holiday season, whether it's already passed or you're still in the middle of it for whatever you may or may not celebrate. And I hope you're all gearing up for a great new year and hopefully some better things to come in 2021. And that's the topic for today's video. This is a response to a question posed by my friends in the Metal Gamers podcast. They are awesome. You should check them out if you like metal and gaming. Two things that go together better than just about anything I can think of. I will put a link to them. So they posed a question, and I'm not reading it right here, so forgive me if I paraphrase this incorrectly, but essentially the core of the question was, what are you excited for in the new year in terms of gaming, in terms of music, and for those who want to share, in terms of any resolutions or goals you have for the new year. So I thought I would contribute and just talk about some things that I'm excited for going into 2021. I greatly encourage you to do the same in the comments and share the things you're excited for. I think we could all use a little bit of something to look forward to this year. I will say I don't know if this video is going to make the cutoff for their comments period or not, so maybe what I have to say will be involved in their next podcast episode. Maybe it won't, but either way, it's a fun discussion. So let's get into it. In terms of gaming, there's a couple things that come to mind when I think 2021 things I am excited for and would love to see. Nier Replicant, that's a big one. I was blown away by Nier Automata or Automata. I don't know what the proper stress is on that word, but man, what a beautiful game experience. The music was amazing. The story was delivered in a very unique way. Definitely made a huge impact on me in how I look at games going into the future. And I was always a little bummed by not being able to play the original Nier, and a little disheartened by some reviews I'd read of how the gameplay and presentation was a little rough going back to the original Nier. So really excited to be able to play kind of the remastered version of that on the PS4 going forward. Another big one for me is Battlefield 6. If you see some of the other videos I do on the channel, I am a huge gun nerd, actually trained gunsmith and armorer myself, but I've been a Battlefield fan since before I got into gunsmithing, and I really liked the way they portrayed the modern shooter combat. I had a great time with it. I'm somebody who actually enjoyed Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 5. Now, we did not have a release of Battlefield this year, and I'm hoping that was for the better, that they took some time away to regroup. Battlefield 5 was slammed kind of hard by some people for the sorry state of the game at launch and the utter lack of support on some game modes, especially their, I believe it was called Firestorm, was their Battle Royale mode, which I did play a couple times and had fun with. But they have made some major changes, I think, in terms of staffing and direction, and they've taken a step back. So I hope they're going to come back with some quality that we expect out of Battlefield multiplayer, and I'm definitely excited to see what they do on next gen. There is expected to be an announcement that will fully give the details for the next Battlefield. There are some hints that it's modern or near modern, but whatever the case, I'm excited to see the direction they take it in and see if they can kind of save the reputation a little bit and bring that very enjoyable, in-depth shooter combat to the next generation of consoles. Speaking of the next generation of consoles, I am hoping that the PS5, because that's probably the one I'm going to get over the Xbox, I'm hoping that they resolve some of their launch issues and that they build up a bank of titles that makes it worth switching over, because as of right now, I'd love a PS5. I wouldn't turn one down as a gift, but I am absolutely not going to invest in one with the problems they're having and with the lack of launch titles that are especially exclusive to the console. So I'm hoping that they really build up that library and make it worthwhile to switch over to the PS5. The other big thing for me in terms of gaming is Atlus. I'm a big fan of Atlus titles, particularly Persona, Shin Megami Tensei, and Catherine was the other one I played and really enjoyed. Looking forward, we have Persona 5 Strikers coming out this year on PS4. That looks like a lot of fun. I'm excited to see what they do with kind of the world and the universe. I'm actually still playing through Persona 5 Royal 100 hours in and haven't gotten to the new content yet. So I should be wrapping that up around the time that Strikers comes out, and I'm excited for that. The soundtrack, I have heard it. It sounds awesome. It sounds like they took the jazz fusion that they're known for, and they amped up the aggressiveness and the hard hitting just a little bit. So it sounds like a killer soundtrack so far. I really hope that's a game that I'm going to enjoy. Shin Megami Tensei 5. Big fan of the Shin Megami Tensei series. I would love to be able to play 5. It's been teased for, a year and a half, 2 years now, I think, coming out on Switch. Really excited to see Shin Megami Tensei on a modern console. The last ones that came out were on mobile platforms, so there was a little bit to be desired in terms of their being up to date with modern game technology when they came out. So it's been a long, long time since we've seen Shin Megami Tensei main series game. In fact, I think since the PS2 days that they've put out anything that competes with other games in terms of sheer technical power. So I really hope that they pull through on that one, and I think it could be something that might even bring that series back into recognition a little bit alongside Persona. It also looks like they're teasing a 25th anniversary Persona. I don't know if that's a remake of the original, which was an offshoot of Shin Megami Tensei. Obviously, that game has aged a lot. It can be played on PSP, but it's still quite an aged game. So if we see that remade to some extent with more modern controls or quality of life improvements, I think that would be awesome. More games being ported by Atlus. I'd love to see the Digital Devil series and more Shin Megami Tensei games maybe ported to Steam like they've done, or even to the PlayStation Store for digital download. Correct me if I'm wrong, I haven't seen any of them for download on PS4, and I'd love to be able to play through some of the remakes. I know they're remastering Nocturne, which is one I haven't actually played myself, so hugely excited for all of that. As far as music goes, I can't think of a ton off the top of my head as far as music. These guys right here, Caligula's Horse, I'm wearing their shirt. They're supposed to have their first US tour. It was supposed to be this year. One of my favorite bands. I've been dying to see them. Of course, it got canceled with COVID and everything. They're supposed to be coming back, but I have a feeling it's going to be delayed again because, unlike Australia, where they're from, the US just does not have the situation under control at all. So I'm hoping that happens in 2021 so that I get to see that band. And I think they're supposed to be coming with Moontooth, which is another awesome... They're kind of like a prog blues stoner band, in a sense almost comparable to like an American 12-Foot Ninja in a way, but obviously distinct in their own sound. Leprous, I hope Leprous comes out with some new material. They just released a fantastic single, Castaway Angels, very stripped down, kind of gave me almost Phil Collins kind of vibes with the pulling everything, the orchestration back to a ballad with some absolutely amazing vocals. So I'm excited to see what they do, maybe bring back something a little more hard-hitting than some of Pitfall's. But beyond that, there's nothing I'm super excited for that's set in stone. I'd love to see Richelieu come back with another album. They've been talking about getting together. It's been quite a while since Living as Ghost with Buildings as Teeth. And they have mentioned that they will work on new music. Things have just been tough for them. I'd love to see that. Ne Obliviscaris, I think we're about due for another album on their cycle. And I believe them and Carnival and a couple other Australian prog acts are touring. And I hope that means that they're producing new music and we might get a taste of some of that in 2021. As far as goals, resolutions... who knows? I'm just trying to figure out how I fit back into life. For some of you who don't know, I started this channel after I got my narcolepsy diagnosis. It made it really, really difficult for me to work. In fact, I've been essentially unable to work or even take part in a lot of normal life with a lot of the challenges between the narcolepsy and a chronic heart condition I have, and just some other things going on that really have put me down quite a while in terms of my health. So I'm hoping to get back to some form of normalcy in some direction. Maybe this YouTube thing will take off, maybe it won't. But either way, I'd just like to get into more things that are fulfilling and, allow me to have a sense of pride in the days that I spend in my life. And out here on the homestead, I'd like to get into more things that just set up our cycle in nature, more plants that bring in native insects and things like that. We'd really love to get our ecosystem set up and going a little more. Our bass should be spawning here soon enough that we can fish them, and they're self-sufficient. I've seen minnows in the lake, so they're spawning, and getting some of our annual plants set up, some of our fruit trees growing, and just getting into a way of life that I think is a little more harmonious with nature is something I've been kind of oddly interested in this year. It's something that wasn't a big priority for me. So, those are my vaguely defined goals and aspirations for the coming year. If you have something that you're excited about and want to be hyped up, put it in the comments. Hype each other up. And, let's achieve some things. Maybe it's not everything that you want you achieve, but, let's get out there and try every day that we can to realize the kind of life that we want. And remember to enjoy the little things along the way. So, again, that's my answer to the question for the Metal Gamers podcast, and I will link to where you can find them in the description of this video. And in the meantime, this is something new. I don't usually do blogs because this face doesn't really belong on camera, but what's the point of growing a beard if you're not going to show it off once in a while, right? So here I am. But let me know if you want to see more just kind of discussion blogs. Probably not, but these guys put out interesting questions every once in a while, and this seems like a fun interactive way to respond to them, so what's the harm for now? If you did enjoy the video, I'd love it if you left a like or a comment about what you liked, or even a subscription to see more. If you didn't enjoy the video, feel free to dislike it, but I'd also love it if you just left a comment and let me know what went wrong, how I can do better next time. If not for you, then for my other viewers. And once again, it's been a pleasure, everybody. Thanks for sharing a little bit of your time with me, and Happy New Year to all.